And the true origin of Kennedy or kidney, they were kidney-shaped pools, basically, or jelly bean-shaped pools, basically. There's these little half-round pools that some people considered popular. I didn't really particularly like them, and I don't think anybody else particularly liked them. Basically, they were like these half-rounded pools that people were doing for a while there. I don't really know why. I don't really know much about it other than it's just a pool type. You know, I personally preferred long straight pools or winding rivers or stuff like that, caves and stuff like that, artificial caves and stuff like that. And I had a few things like that, like the stuff that was done at the Hefner house and stuff like that was, of course, one of my construction projects I wanted to have. I wanted to do this cool little thing. And this person built it, and basically I never came or whatever. So, anyway, like I said, Rodney, Rick Bush, and a bunch of other people, Jehovah's Witnesses, basically people who found out about Lucifer Starr's money or whatever. They were trying to, the web we weave, we practice to deceive, basically trying to pretend like I was Brian Briley, but I was actually Lucifer Starr. I'm actually Lucifer Starr, so just on vacation. And I'm supposed to be going around and seeing all these places and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, Rodney was going to be Admiral Rodney, and I'll be your eyes, your nose, your ears, and Rosella would be blah, 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 blah. Basically a bunch of fucking idiots, pretty much. And this led to more problems in the state and the country as basically, other people were, I mean, it's like, who the fuck is Rodney? Who the fuck is Rosalie? A car basically, and pretty much a galleon, one point in time, and some other stuff. You know, you know, um, like I said, I mean, and then, like I said, and I was giving people pay raises or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, whatever, it's just this big nightmare that is chaos. Later on, Rodney was doing chaos and or something like that. Rodney thought he was so powerful. This other person thought he was so powerful and blah, blah. And it's just this warp of history or whatever. And it's like, I'm done with this shit. Like, enough with the fucking stupid bullshit. I don't really care anymore. It's like, I'm an epic creator, and then later on other people were trying to get my 1.5s to go to war for them. Or trying to use my exoskeletons to do war in the galaxy and the universe. It's like, they don't work for you. Who the fuck are you? I'm Lucifer Starr, actually. Ellis. Dark Lord, creator of 12 of the oldest races. Basically on vacation. Like, Yeah, I mean, like for instance, Statue of Liberty, the star underneath it, all kinds of stuff. Titanic, White Star Lines, you know, like, and all these people are trying to use my troops, trying to blah, 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 trying to do this takeover, and then there's the White Star submarines attacking people on Pearl Harbor, and someone trying to turn Pearl Harbor over into basically a pirate base or some shit like that, trying to do raids from Pearl Harbor, trying to create the Bermuda Triangle, which is basically where they were pretty much the White Star submarines were, which were civilian submarines. They weren't even military. Weren't supposed to have torpedoes on there. Weren't supposed to be attacking Chinese or other shipping ships, but yet, and that's basically John McCain, JFK, and a bunch of other people. The alligators and the wolf pack and stuff like that. They had to use code names, so they, and then they eventually sink a Japanese or Chinese ferry boat, with 3,000 children on board. Trying to get this war to start or something like that between, Anyway, like I say, and then they're scuffing the side of the submarines, trying to use spray paint on them to try and change them to gray or black color, so they could do their commando raids and shooting back John McCain. And Rodney trying to command the Rodney. There are 4 Rodneys and there's battleships, everything else like that. And then Rodney trying to be Admiral Rodney, and his brother's Balsuba, blah, blah, blah. Like, what the fuck? Like a bunch of fucking idiots doing coke and just wandering around doing LSD and then of course, and then they're trying to have me killed by the time I'm 9 or 6 years old. I'm trying to go after blonde-haired, blue-eyed children. So, I mean, because I was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed child, and then they're trying to get another blonde-haired, blue-eyed child, anyone but me in the White House. And it's like, well, that's not me. That's not Lucifer Star. And then they're trying to watch the old films. They're trying to get information on basically who I really am, so they can try and pretend to the public or to the world or to the universe that they're me. And they're not me. Meanwhile, they're putting contracts on my head, trying to use my own money to have me killed. Like, I chose this money. I invented communism. I invented this money. Paper and cotton fibers, and I had the first cotton farms and blah, 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 and the ink. It's my money. I paid to have it made better, over $1 million. It was spent just on money research to try and make the money last longer. So, anyway, it's my gold-back financial system. It's my ruble-back idea in Russia. Backing the currency with diamonds or rubles, whatever. Anyway, it's my whole system. I build civilizations. That's what I did for a living. And then Kennedy, basically them trying to do this lie where, oh, Kennedy just has to show up and the women flock to him. Like, what was he, a comedian? Who the fuck is Kennedy? And that's not even Kennedy. Kennedy was a German. The Kennedy family were Germans. And all the reports say basically they died in Ireland in like 1920. Whole town died. And then maybe, except for maybe one girl, who was raped and tortured, and basically, they tried to get her, and they were like, oh, it was the Nightingale effect or whatever, or some shit like that. She hated them. Anyway, whatever, I don't know. There's one girl or two girls that lived or something like that. They killed the rest of the family and the whole town. It might have been a site where there were some oil wells. They tried to say it was one family against another family. It's like, what the fuck? Why would two families that live together have a war? I mean, I don't think so. Some other fucking stupid person. But then, like I said, the Bush oil fields. The Bush oil fields. What, you mean the oil wheels, the oil fields are in the bush, as in nobody sees them and suddenly they're there? That wasn't, I didn't give the, there's all this stuff where the Bush family is getting payouts or basically bribes for lying about stuff. Bushes, who the fuck are the Bushes? They don't have anything. They don't have property, they don't have oil wells. They had nothing to do with that. Like a bunch of fucking liars basically just trying to cover up for what they did. All the people they killed. And then of course there's Jimmy Carter and his eminent domain bullshit. Which is not half as bad as what fake Kennedy was doing, going into whole houses and basically killing everyone. And all this stuff is brought to my attention. And basically, it's probably because it's Lucifer White Star's house, and like I said, there's a giant mine under there, and then you have Nixon back in 1970 or 1960 saying there are no secret mines underneath, there are no whatever, blah, 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 there's no secret rooms inside the White House. It's like, well, yeah, of course there are. There are lots of secret rooms and lots of buildings all over the world. I like the little secret passageways and rooms. We had whole buildings with secret panels and secret walls and secret this and that. Like, in the White House is one of my buildings. So, of course it has them. Anyway. And actually, the truth was, Kennedy was really jealous of LS. Like I said, in the White House, there was LS cufflinks. Little cufflinks with the symbol LS on them. Stands for Lucifer Star. There's my house. And Kennedy or someone was going, well, he owns an island, so of course he's going to have cufflinks. It's like, I more than owned a fucking island. A bunch of people that just shot their way or got their way into my White House. Like, and then they're trying to marry Jackie and trying to have her killed, thinking that she owns the house, and she doesn't. She even tells them, I don't own the house. He's just letting me stay there. The White House has nothing to do with the American government, nor D.C. And D.C. was just a courthouse, and mostly it was just a library where there's a bunch of schematics and designs. They worked on D.C. motors, and even the Middle East knows my D.C. motors from D.C. And we turned it into a 24-hour basically machine shop or whatever at one point in time, and then later on it was a school, and then later on it was a courthouse. You know, and calligraphy schools and all that kind of stuff. You know, like I said, I don't really give a fuck. And then a bunch of people trying to lock me up or call me crazy or trying to get me committed. Have me killed by the time I'm 9 or 6 years old. Because I'm Ellis, Lucifer Star. And it's like, well, I don't really care, you know, I mean, it's 900 trillion years. There's a galaxy coming right at us. Be here in 680 billion years. And then they're trying to hide that fact, you know, trying to digitally make all the images blurry from the Hubble. And like we actually sensed it and knew about it back when I paid for a giant telescope, and we could notice it a long time ago. In 680 billion years, it's going to be visible to the naked eye that there's a group of stars coming at us. So I build galaxies for a living. Create life forms. That's what I do. I don't know who the fuck had the brainiac idea to go live inside of my house and to start this bullshit. Maybe it was Rodney, Admiral Rodney. I'll be your nose, your eyes, and yours, and your dick. And I was like, what are you going to be, Rodney, my dick? Like, your mom will be your eyes, your sister will be your ears. And what are you going to be, Rodney, my dick? Apparently so. You know, some piece of shit, fucking stupid asshole that thought that him and his best friend Rick Bush, like thinking that Lucifer Star was an alias. Oh, it's an alias. Oh yeah, so I'll be Rick Bash and you'll be Godney. No, Lucifer Star is not an alias. Ellis is not an alias. Brian is my home name. Lucifer Star is the name of your creator. Lusiferstar. 12 types of life forms. 9 of the oldest life form sets in all the universe. Like I say, I don't particularly care.